Dear students, today we will start a new chapter in history, the Great Uprising. By the mid 19th century, the British had established themselves as the supreme political power in India. We know that the British government they came to India as a traders, but after that they became the master of our country. A large part of India was under the direct control of the British administration. Rulers of some areas they acknowledge British supremacy. That means some of the rulers in India they have accepted the British supremacy. That British they are the masters of our country. They accepted that theory. Such areas were under the indirect control of the British. The Mughal Empire existed only in the name of the emperor. Bahadur Shah Jafar had neither territory nor power. So, Bahadur Shah Jafar, the last Mughal emperor, he had no power or no position actually at that time. Now, nearly 100 years of British presence in India had made all the sections of Indian society very unhappy because we know in 1757 in the Battle of Palashi when the Nawab of Bengal Sirajuddaulah was very badly defeated by the British. That time only the British government they have strengthened their rule in India. So from 1757 to 1857 the Indian people they have seen how the British government they have ruled in India. So this made all the sections of Indian society very unhappy. The ruler resisted the annexation of the territories. Noblemen were angered by the loss of the jamindars. So the rulers, their territories were taken by the British. Jamindars, they were also very much angry because their lands were confiscated by the British government. The peasants hated the exploitative system of revenue collection, and the farmers they were under the burden of taxation. Revenue mainly they had to give to the British, and that is also the huge amount. The tribal people they feared a threat to their livelihood, and tribal people also they were afraid that their lands may be confiscated by the British. The craftsmen were against the new economic policies which exposed them to unfair competition from abroad, and the artisans and the craftsmen they are also very much unhappy. Why? Because they could not compete with the machine made goods which were dumped into India for selling. Even the sepoys, the backbone of the British army, were unhappy as they were treated unfairly by the British officers. And the Indian sepoys were also unhappy because they were not treated well by the British officer. They did not get good food, they did not get the handsome salaries by the British. Though they were European soldiers and the Indian soldiers, they had the same position in the British army, but the European soldiers they used to get more salary than an Indian soldier. So the different sections of the society they express their anger through the protest, through the revolt, etc. So in this chapter, we are going to learn the causes of uprising, the effects of uprising, why the uprising was failed, different matters. Causes of uprising. The biggest challenge to the British authority came in 1857. In the year, the people of India rose up against the British because they were under the British rule for more than 100 of years. That's why they wanted to get rid of from this situation. First is the economic causes. The main cause of the popular discontentment was the economic exploitation that affected all sections of society. Peasants, that means the farmers, they suffered due to the high revenue demands and strict policy of revenue collection. The British took away a large part of the peasants' produce. So the profit mainly was taken by the British from the farmers. Most often the peasants and the family were starved. That means they had nothing to lead their family life because each and everything was taken by the British. Even when the crops failed, the peasants were forced to pay the land revenue. See, that time also very much the British government have shown their indifference. That means they were too much indifferent. They were not worried about this situation where the people were not able to grow crops. Instead of them, they were forced to pay the taxes. So, he often borrowed money from the moneylenders. So, how the farmer will give tax to the British? That's why he had to borrow or lend money from the moneylenders. Failure to repay the loan resulted the moneylender taking away the peasants' lands. And poor farmer, how they will give the tax to the farmer or how they will repay the money to the moneylenders. And when they were failed to do that, their lands were taken by the moneylenders. Once rendered landless, the peasants found it even more difficult to survive. So, when the farmers become landless, it was very difficult for them to lead their livelihood or to lead to difficult to survive. Artisans and the craftsmen were ruined by the unfair competition in Britain. The goods were manufactured on machines, but the Indian craftsmen made goods by hand. So in Britain, the goods were manufactured on machine, that means a power loom, and the Indians were made the goods by the hand, that is a handloom. This cost more than the machine made good automatically. Why not? Because one the Indian weavers specially they took one to make one sari that is a good quality of sari which is known as a muslin which was famous in India. They took more than 1 month. So why they will not take the that means more from that machine made goods? But the machine made goods from Britain were being levied on them. So the people preferred to buy these goods as they were much cheaper. So when the machine made or manufactured goods, British goods were dumped in India, the people preferred to buy these goods because the machine made goods were much more cheaper than the handmade goods. Thus the traditional industry of India was ruined. And who was responsible for that? British government. Our industries, our the traditional industry was ruined, and the British government were responsible for that. The old ruling classes were displaced by the British. Due to the withdrawal of the royal patronage, people who earned a living by following the religious and the cultural professions, such as priests, poets, musicians, lost their source of livelihood. It means that when the jamindars, lands of the jamindars were confiscated, when their position was deteriorated, so how they will look after the other people like priests, poets, musicians, because they were related to the administration of the rulers. So when their lands were confiscated, when due to the withdrawal of the royal patronage, these people, that means they did not get the support of the jamindars or the rulers because already their lands only confiscated. They only withdrawn from their position. So how they will support the priests, poets, musicians and all? So these people lost their livelihood. So these were the economic causes of the first war of independence or the Great Uprising. Now dear students, we will discuss on the political causes. The British policy of annexing territories led to the displacement of the ruling classes. That means one by one the places the British wanted to capture. The dynasty of the Mughals was also but gone. That means the Mughal dynasty also came to an end. The armies were disbanded and they became dependent on the company for their needs. The strict enforcement of the doctrine of lapse turned Rani Lakshmibai against the British led to the uprising of Jhansi. What is the meaning of doctrine of lapse? Actually, the doctrine of lapse, it was introduced by Lord Dalhousie. According to this doctrine, if any ruler of any subordinate state died without his own child, then the adopted son had no right to occupy the throne. So, in this way, the British government has captured Jhansi, Nagpur, Satara, all these places. Awadh. Lord Dalhousie annexed Awadh in 1856. People resented this since the Nawab of Awadh had always been loyal to the British. So that time Nawab was Nawab Wajid Ali Shah. So he has shown his loyalty to the British. The annexation was viewed by the people as an act of betrayal by the British. So Nawab was loyal to the British, but his kingdom only annexed or captured by the British. So the common people, they have seen this thing, they viewed that the British government, they have done betrayed with the Nawab. It deeply hurt the sentiments of the people, particularly the sepoys, because most of them were from Awadh and surrounding areas. So the sepoys mainly, they become angry because most of the sepoys, they belong to Awadh and the nearby areas. Now, the social causes. The British passed banning sati and legalizing the widow remarriage. So this thing the British government, they have done well. Women were encouraged to take part in the Western education. Some sections of the Indian society, however, looked down upon these measures with suspicions. They interpreted them as example of interference with the country's social customs. So some people, they did not take this thing as a good way. That means they thought the British government unnecessarily they are interfering in their social customs. The social discrimination faced by the people due to the British attitude of racial superiority also led to much resentment. For example, Indians were not allowed to travel in the first class compartment in the trains. So there is a racial discrimination between English and the Indians. Indians were not allowed to travel the railway coaches where the other Europeans used to travel. The Indians were not allowed to enter the hotel which were only meant for the Europeans. So all kinds of social discrimination the Indian people they have faced. And the third one is educated Indians were denied for promotions an opportunity to appoint to the high post. When the time came, the educated Indians turned against the British. So the educated Indians, though they have adopted the English culture, Western culture, but they did not get the promotions. They did not get any high post in the British administration or British army, etc. And you know, in the British army, only one post was that reserved for the Indian army, that is a Subedar. So when the time came, the educated Indian they turned against the British government.